Hi, Sean.
What's going on?
The show last night was wonderful, and I have to thank you for doing things like that. If you weren't doing this kind of stuff, we wouldn't know how often this happened and that these people had already been arrested and let go into the communities again.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I wish I could say, and I said this in the opening of the show last night. We laid out every fact, every statistic, every number. We had Rick Perry on. He'll be on tonight with us. When I sat through the security briefing with Governor Perry from 2008 to 2014, there were 642,000 Texans alone that were victims of crimes by illegal immigrants. Nobody else will tell that story. And, I'm glad to do it. I mean, but I would rather just solve the problem. For example, the problem is under the current law, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, they are now free, because they're not enforcing the laws of this country, to release, as they have done, and you met family members last night that lost loved ones. They're free to release dangerous criminals in the cities and towns and American streets all across this country while they await deportation hearings. Now, none of these people ever show up. Now, the Department of Homeland Security does have the discretion to impose a bail bond requirement and or mandate for continued detention until those proceedings are held. Well, under President Obama, the department has opted to release thousands of these criminal illegal immigrants right onto America's streets, many have whom, and well, I know there's one number, 121 of whom, have gone on to commit murders that we know of. That's only the ones we know of. So they have the ability to detain these people, but they don't. They don't enforce the law. I kept asking Trump, well, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to enforce the law. These are the laws of the land. That's, if Republicans want to understand why 65% of the electorate feels that they are betrayed, well, just look at 2014. You don't need to go back that far. And in 2014, they ran, give us the Senate, and we'll stop illegal, unconstitutional executive amnesty. They didn't do it. And people literally are dying as a result. And I will predict to you, and this goes to all of you never Trumpers. I keep saying, you go against Trump. Trump doesn't get 90% of the Republican base. You own it. That's right. Politicians that promised, presidential candidates that promised, Washington Republicans that promised, oh, we'll support the nominee. They don't win. And those that are, National Review, Wall Street Journal, Hillary picks Supreme Court nominees, and you've done everything you can do to sabotage Donald Trump's chances of victory. You own Hillary's Supreme Court nominees. You own her refugees and whatever crimes they commit. You own her illegal immigrants and whatever crimes they commit. You own the economy. You own the debt. You own the deficit. You own it. Governors of big states that aren't supporting Donald Trump over Hillary, well, that's half a vote for Hillary. You own that too, and I'm going to hold all of you accountable. I blame them. Then they're going to say, Hannity, you're responsible for Trump. I'm not responsible for Trump. Who's responsible for Trump? Republicans created the atmosphere into which an outsider can win. And that's why Trump and that's why Ted Cruz, the two outsiders, did the best. And then Trump won because the voters put him over the top at record numbers. So, you can say Hannity did it, but I gave access to everybody. And then I let the voters decide. And I'll take Trump's agenda over Hillary's corrupt, immoral, leftist, statist, Marxist, socialist viewpoint any day. I'll take Trump's Supreme Court nominees over hers any day. I will enthusiastically pull the lever for Trump. And I'm telling all of you National Review types, you Brett Stevens, Wall Street Journal types, you Jonah Goldberg types, you Bill Kristol types, you Lindsey Grahams and Jeb Bush types, with all due respect, you guys made a promise. And all of you guys, when Hillary, if she wins, appoints a Supreme Court justice that impacts this country so badly for generations, you own it. You bought it. You own it. You're partly responsible for it. And don't come crying to me when the country disintegrates, which it's in the process of doing now. And the process is in decline. And the country's in decline. And I am saying there is on every issue a distinct choice to make here. And these people are a bunch of spoiled brat, crybaby, insecure, pick up my toys, go home, sore losers. It's unbelievable to me. Can't believe the level of immaturity and the circular firing squad they have now created for the Republicans. Tracy is in Texas. Tracy, hi, how are you? You're on the Sean Hannity Show.
I'm good, Sean. Hey, Sean, I just, look, I've been sitting back. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not 100% for Trump, but Trump did initially win me over when he was talking about building the wall and trade I mean, you did hit on a lot of good points. My question, though, now is, and I spoke to you last week about it feels like he's kind of, I don't want to try to make waves, but it feels like he's not being truthful to your own party. I mean, when he says the wall, and that was one thing, now he's softening his stance on the wall, this makes him wavering. So what do you feel about this wavering? Because I myself, I'm looking at it, and it feels like, I know it's got to be Luann. I think his new advisor, she's softening him up. But do you think he can leave your party feeling betrayed? I mean, what do you feel on this issue?
Listen, I think, you're raising a lot of points here. I think that what Donald Trump kept saying when I kept asking him, and watch tonight, because the opening segment of tonight's show, he does his own polling of the audience, and it's a pretty amazing moment, I think. And there's a little bit of disagreement, but not a lot of disagreement. The way you described it to me, and I won't give it all away, because I'd rather you watch the show and hear it for yourself, interpret it the way you want to interpret it. But what I heard him say was this: first of all, day one, criminal aliens, they're all out. We're going to send them back. And then we're going to plug up the hole of the boat, which is leaking water, and that is we're going to stop illegal immigration, 1,000 miles of fence. He thinks he can build it in a short period of time. Then he's going to work on, again, he went through all of this last night, those that overstay their visas and how we track them better and e-verify and just a lot of different things. It's all part of the mix here. As it relates to the others, he was very clear, no citizenship, no path to citizenship. And what I think he's addressing is what so many on the left they've tried to sort of create this narrative. Oh, he's going to line up poor families that own their homes and they're going to be walking across the border, and there's going to be miles and miles and miles of people walking across the border, and they're going to be crying because they're forced out of America where they've lived for 20 years. And well, that's the way the media wants to portray it, but he's saying that's not exactly what we're doing. So watch it tonight, and then call me back tomorrow and see if you understand a little bit better.
Let me ask you this, though, before you go. Yeah. Was it his tactic to go so far to the right, and now this is his, I guess, late evening push all the way to the other side? I mean, he's appealing to black. I'm not gonna lie, he's not appealing to black, but he's attempting to reach out to black. That's probably a better way.
Can I ask you a question? One of the things, but look at, is the black community better off or worse off under Barack Obama?
But he doesn't speak the way, I hate to say it, maybe it's the telephone.
But you need, before we go any further, you really need to answer this question. This is an important question. Is black America better off under the policies 8 years of Barack Obama?
Are you asking me this question?
That's a question for you. Yes, sir.
Yes, we are.
You all right? Now, give me. Hang on. Now,
let me.
No. Give me any specific measurement that proves your point, because I have specific measurements that proves you're wrong.
I understand it. Let me first go.
No. First go. No distract. No, focus with me here. You got to stay on track with me. You got to. You have to. No, every time I ask you a question, you want to go off in another direction. Focus on my question. You say black Americans are better off under Obama. I'm asking you to back up that claim with any type of data you've got that confirms what you're saying is true.
Yes. First, let me as a black man say what I want and don't corral me to a corner. As a black
I'm not corralling you into a corner. See, the reason you're saying I'm corralling you into a corner because you can't answer that question.
Yes, I bet you.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll give $1,000 right now to the charity of your choice if you tell me one statistics where black Americans are statistically better off under Barack Obama's policies. Tell me where. I'm listening. Hang on. Hey, can we play the Jeopardy music? Let's play it again. Ready? Hang on. Ready, set, go.
That makes a thought. Let me finish the thought. Give me that. Watching a black family such as his, a Christian man, the way he's moving, he's a black man, as a black kid, and I have a black daughter to look up to. And that is one of the first things. Two, he gave his health care, which I purchased, which I went through Aetna, I went to Molina, as well as Blue Cross Blue Shield. I've watched how he tried to move for fair pay, Lilly Ledbetter Act. I watched as he saved GM. I watched as he went after Osama bin Laden. We may not agree as to the success of a lot of these things, but I watched for the first time in my life a black man achieve the level of being in the role and
listen, I asked, but you're not answering my. You see, the bottom line is this, and I gave you a chance to speak now. Now I'm going to pin you down on my question. I asked you, as a community, is the black community overall better having had Barack Obama as president for the last 8 years? I asked you to cite me one specific example, statistic, where black Americans are better off because he has has been their president, and you can't do it. And I said, I'll give $1,000 to the charity of your choice. Well, I'm talking about the black community because I have numbers that I can share. I have numbers that I can share with you that prove my point. Are you ready to listen?
Okay.
There has been there are 12 million more Americans now that are on food stamps. A 58% increase of black Americans on food stamps. A 20% increase of black Americans out of the labor force since he's become president. And then I can add to that the lowest labor participation rate in the country since the 70s. The black community has been disproportionately impacted more than most other communities in this country or demographics in this country. Home ownership rate is at a 51-year low, and the same thing holds there, and that is that disproportionately more black Americans have been negatively impacted because of the bad economy. You talk about the stock market. If you are in poverty and you're on food stamps, we have 8 million more Americans in poverty, 12 million more on food stamps. Disproportionately black Americans are impacted by it. They're not worried about the stock market. See, but you cannot answer this question. And this is frustrating to me because you just send out these platitudes. Well, they got Osama bin Laden. I mean, all right, I gave him credit for that. He did. The intelligence community did their job. He had the courage to say, okay, do the mission. All right, I give him credit. But Iraq has been surrendered now to ISIS. Syria has been surrendered. Afghanistan's a mess. Libya's a mess. Everything. He supported Mohammed Morsi. It's insane. Anyway, I got to go. All right, quick break. Right back. We'll continue.
Roundup is next. You do not want to miss it. And stay tuned for the final hour free-for-all on the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, this is a 30-second commercial, and I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but please stay with me. In just 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your car insurance. Now, this company has been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years, and anytime you need help... Back News Roundup Information Overload. Remember, it used to be that there were investments that only were available to big institutional investors, really wealthy people that had piles of money, that used money managers, that sort of thing. One of the investments that's very popular with them is called a REIT, R-E-I-T, a real estate investment trust. Well, now richuncles.com is bringing you an opportunity to be a part of a REIT, which, by the way, they'll save 10% up front because they eliminate the salesperson. Now, Rich Uncle's REIT, R-E-I-T, operates by pooling people's money, investors' money together to buy property and then rent that property out to credit-worthy tenants like Walgreens, Chevron, Chase Bank, and they pay your rent and they're paying your mortgage. Now, this investment, like all investments, has risks. Nothing's guaranteed, and you can find out more by going to richuncles.com. Rich Uncles, R-E-I-T, REIT, a Reg A, Tier 2 offering, richuncles.com, richuncles.com, or call 855-RICH-UNCLES.
Rich Uncles REIT is seeking indications of interest concerning its Reg A Tier 2 securities offering. Any indication of interest involves no obligation or commitment of any kind. No money or other consideration is being solicited, and if sent, response will not be accepted. No sales will be made or commitments to purchase accepted until the offering statement is qualified. This media outlet is being paid under $15,000 by Rich Uncles for this single message.